is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live, if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Once again, thank you. And finally, just underneath that, there's another link in there somewhere. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 10,200 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, my man. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I ain't putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Oh, here we go. Let me tell you something, brother. Darth Vader has heart. Well, I'm not saying, so you can't say, we've got the quarterback for the future. We got this, we got that, or whatever. But we were on. Boom. There you go. Off to a good start, right? Very promising. Very promising. A lot of good things, a lot of good things, of course, then there's always the, I just can't even talk sometimes. It's just absolutely freaking, it's just, we're like a quarter and a half into it and whatever, then we lose Malik Neighbors. It's like, are you kidding me? I'm going to talk about Malik in a little bit here, but thoughts and prayers to him, man. It's unbelievable. Absolutely. It's unbelievable. It really is. It is. I mean, these injuries. I mean, Tyreek Hill. Holy crap. Wow. Thoughts and prayers to that guy. I mean, my goodness. I mean, it's a shame because, he's phenomenal, this to that and all that stuff. But, I certainly don't want to say he's nothing without his speed, but Tyreek Hill's there because of his speed and what he did with his knee. Holy cow. I'm hoping nothing but the best for that guy. Oh, yeah. It was a bunch of terrible seasons. Good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you hate making fun. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, what the hell? I mean, I don't know. They usually say like you can usually. So the nice thing, if you want to say that about Malik's injury, okay, that happened early in the season, okay. So when I'm listening, there's a possibility he could be back by week 1 next season. Okay. The only thing is sometimes, there's no, I don't know what you call it. Yeah, you get a cut, it heals, and your finger's good as new, right? You break a bone, right? It heals up, it's good. But I mean, it's, everybody's a little different with these ACLs, right? Some guys never quite the same. Some guys are as good as they were. Some guys maybe even a little bit better, But some guys also, just what I hear anyway. I'm not a doctor. I've never had it done before. I've never had an ACL like that. But sometimes they say that your second season back is when you're up to, so there's a possibility he might be back next season, but he may not be quite he'll have his hands and everything. But it's his route running and all of that might get affected a little bit. Might be 2 years from now, unfortunately. He might be. So we'll have to wait and see. But unfortunately, it totally winds up screwing this season over. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things. That's why it's so important to have, two good weapons. And this is going to show the Giants that they going to need another weapon. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but a lot of good with Dart. Obviously, sure, some stuff you wanted to have back or whatever, but no turnovers, right? He's still the dude. I gave a talk sometimes though. I don't know if he's hanging out with Scatterboot too much. I mean, he's just somewhere along the line. It's it's all cute, fine, and fancy now as he's walking off the field and he's somewhere along the line. Somebody's going to clean his clock, and he might be out for a while. So the guy's got to start learning to get down. Very efficient and no turnovers. No interceptions. The first drive just walked down the field. Only completed 2 passes, I think it was, on the first drive. A lot of the runs, right? I think he had 54 yards rushing. So it gives us hope going forward. I mean, that's all you can really ask for. I'm going to talk a little bit about the red zone too. I mean, because we left a lot of points on the board there. I really like what he did on that 4th down. That was one of those things. It was kind of like, and I can't blame Dable, I guess, either way, if he went for it or if he kicked the field goal. You kick a field goal, you're only up by 6, right? You give the ball to Justin Herbert and say, okay, you can score it, just don't score a touchdown. Then you can see the Chargers walking down the field, scoring a touchdown, kicking the extra point. We lose by a point, right? But then I can see him going for it, because if you go for it, I don't want to say that totally would have sealed the deal, but that would have put us up by 10 points. That would have really made it tough on the Chargers to score. And what I like about with Dart is he had the ball and he bought himself some time. He had a rusher coming at him. He faked his ass out, right? He juked out to the right-hand side. He lofted the ball up in the air. Mondale had it, but the Chargers do have a very good defense, and they were the number 1 red zone scoring defense in the league. They were giving, I think they said they were giving up touchdowns of 47%. The Giants were, I think, 2 for 5. So Chargers don't even give up. I mean, it's early on. Small sample size, right? But they're only giving up 47% touchdowns on 47% of the other team's red zone opportunities. So I mean, that's pretty good. So but I mean, we love. I mean, just sexy. But picks a pass off, runs down to the 2-yard line. We get a field goal. I mean, this one really just the way things have always gone for the Giants in the past. This was it's had the ripe smell of letting another team hang around and they beat you. It was just ripe for something like that. But thankfully, the football gods were on the Giants side. The Giants were the better team. Now, also to be fair, right, the Chargers' offensive line was banged up. Slater was. I mean, it just goes to show you can have a great coach, you can have a great team, this, that, and the other thing. If you're not, I don't want to say the Chargers aren't going to be allowed to, but some teams are just not allowed to win a championship because whatever force or whatever luck or whatever you want to call it, one injury after the other just decimates the team. So they lost Slater, I think, in the preseason. They had Slater and they had Alt. I mean, talk about 2 good bookends. Holy cow, right? Well, Slater got injured. Mekhi Becton couldn't go. Alt got injured. So they were, banged up on the offensive line after a while there, especially during the game, especially after Alt got hurt. But when you're you got a good pass rush. That's what you got to do. You got to take advantage of that. And we're going to talk about the pass rush here in a little bit too. I mean, that's what you want to say. I mean, I tell you, Carter was just unbelievable. I mean, he was just simply amazing. I mean, anytime he came in off the edge, he was just like whoever. It didn't matter whoever was there, he was beating them. And the thing is, it's like if you don't want to get sacked, I could play a whole game of quarterback and not get sacked one time. Right? Come in, pressure, boom, throw the ball on the ground. Pressure, boom, throw the ball. So you don't get sacked. That's what Herbert did. A lot of times he was getting pulled down to the ground. He's like sideways laying, and he just chucks the ball just to avoid a sack. So he, if there were many other quarterbacks out there, he might have got sacked quite a few more times. But Herbert, big, strong, but also some guys just the guy's got him around the waist. He's falling down. I'm just going to chuck it. I'm not taking a sack. That's what he did. But I mean, the amount of times we hit him and knocked him to the ground, it was a thing of beauty. But right now, talking about Dart, 11. What we had? 13 out of 20. I'm sorry, 11. 111 yards. Okay. Only 5.6 yards per attempt. He had the one touchdown, no interception, but he took 5 sacks. A couple of them were on him. Okay, a couple, but we're going to talk about a little bit about the offensive line, but his running was very, very good. He took off. He got some first downs, which is huge. Extending the drives. I mean, I think we had like 35 minutes. 35 and a half minutes of time of possession. 35-28. Yeah. So, I mean, very good. We ran the ball. I mean, how many times we run the ball? 42 times, 161 yards. Of course, a couple of those was also, out of the 161 yards, 54 of it was Dart. So the running backs had 107 yards. So, not bad. But you could also tell, too, in the beginning, Cam was averaging like over 4 yards a carry in the beginning. Then it seemed like once Malik got injured, we didn't really have too much to really threaten him. I mean, we got guys, but there's no defensive coordinator staying up late at night. Oh my God. Got Darius Slayton. Whew. How are we going to cover that? There's nobody. Sorry, I love Darius, but Scadaboo's numbers, his yards per carry started coming down and down and down. He was under 4 yards a carry by the time the game was over with. So you can kind of tell Malik going down. And that's one of the problems the Giants are going to have going forward, right? The last time we played in Nolans, Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan was at the height of this. That's when he won the 3 in a row, whatever it was. He was, hey, right? So we go down to Nolans, and of course we get totally annihilated. But we lost. We looked bad. And the players from Nolans, I guess they had nothing better to do. They were all making fun of Tommy Chicken Cutler. They were all going, I guess, making fun of him. So it's not going to be easy. Especially because it's going to be loud. So whatever Dart's going to do, he'd be better, better figure, whatever we're going to get going on there for solid count, because they're going to need it in New Orleans. It's going to be freaking loud as heck there, right? But one thing they we have to start. It's with Malik there. Okay, you got, as we saw right against Kansas City, you got a cornerback cover, following them, right? Got a safety over top, and maybe even had like a linebacker shading over that way. So basically half the frickin' defense was, on Malik's side, But now, if there's nobody scaring them, right? and we're trying to run the ball, a decent amount. They could put, they can load the box and just put one-on-one coverage with all the, okay, try to beat us. So, and our wide receivers are going to have to try to get open. I mean, it's not going to be, not going to be that easy. So this is why it's so important that, it's much easier said than done. I get it. To just say, oh, we need 2 weapons, but this one you can really use, because if that one weapon goes down, a lot of trouble. But I mean, all in all, very, very, very impressive. He gave us hope, right? We have hope going forward, for the future. So, he did, what was it? The first time I got it here, first time in 23 seasons, I think it was, that a rookie quarterback, I guess maybe made his first start against a team that was undefeated and won. Let me see. Oh, I got it here. Okay, here we go. There we are. Dart becomes the first quarterback in 23 years to pull off this rare feat in stunning win over the Chargers. After sitting on the bench for the first 3 games of the season, Dart finally got to make his first start of his career Sunday. It was a memorable one, with the quarterback leading the Giants to a 21-18 upset win over the Chargers. Dart was impressive in his debut. He didn't put up huge numbers, but he kept the Giants' offense moving, especially with his legs. Now, we were also 7 for 15 on third down conversions. Very good. Very, very good. The week before, what the heck were we? 1 for 10, I think, against the Chiefs, and 1 for 4 on fourth down, I think it was, against the Chiefs. So between third and fourth down conversions against the Chiefs, we were 2 out of 14. This week we were 7 for 15 on third down conversions. So very important. Thanks to the win, Dart became the first quarterback in 23 years to win his first career start over a team that's 3-0 or better. The Chargers are 3-0 going into the Sunday's matchup at MetLife. Before Dart came along, the last time it happened came in 2002 when Mark Bulger led the 0-5 Rams. So the Rams were winless. The Giants were winless, okay, to a stunning upset win over the Raiders, who were 4-0 at the time. Now here, the Chargers were 3-0 at the time. Let's not forget, in 2002, the Raiders went to the Super Bowl. So Raiders were a very good team in 2002. Since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970, there were only 5 quarterbacks who pulled off the feat prior to Dart. There was only 5. One of them was a Giant. So the feat's been done 6 times. 2 of them been by Giant quarterbacks. Not too shabby. So the first one, okay, was where a rookie quarterback making his first start ever beat a team that was 3-0 or better. All right. So the first one was Phil Simms, 1979. The Giants were 0-5. The Buccaneers were 5-0. Now Simms had a very good rookie season. He went 6-5. Those were the only 6 wins the Giants had. The Giants were 6-10 for the season, right? Pisarcik and Randy Dean were the quarterbacks, the other 2 quarterbacks, and they combined 0-5. So the Giants were 6-10. But Phil Simms once again gave us some hope. But Phil Simms in his initial game only threw for 37 yards. Now you take away the 19 yards that he got sacked. He got sacked, I think, 2 times. Phil Simms only threw for a net of 18 yards in his first career game. And somehow we won it because we ran the ball 52 times. But right, it proved, we got over 200 yards rushing against the Buccaneers. Now in 1979, the Buccaneers were a very good team. They went to the NFC Championship game. They lost to the Rams 9-0. The Bucs had a very, very good defense that year. Very good defense. The next time it was done with Frank Reich of the Bills. But the Bills were 3-2. They were not undefeated. They were not winless. See, See, Phil Simms' team was winless. Right, Jaxson Dart's team was winless, and Mark Bolger's team was winless. I think the other ones, Brett Favre and Jeff Garcia and Frank Reich, all their teams had wins. So it's only been done, I think, 3 times since the merger where a winless team with a rookie quarterback making his first initial start went up against a team who was 3-0 or better and beat them. So it's only happened 3 times. But Frank Reich, the Bills were 3-2. They went up against the 5-0 Rams, and they wound up winning. 1992, Brett Favre, maybe you heard of him. Let's see, week 3. So on week 4, the 1-2 Packers faced the 3-0 Steelers, who were favored by 3. No, actually, Brett Favre came in the week before when the Magic Man, Don Mikowski, got injured. So, but Brett Favre's first career start was the following week, the 1-2 Packers, because they beat the Bengals that week, in week 3. Week 4, they went and they faced the Steelers, who were 3-0. And Favre threw for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 76-yard score to Sterling Sharp, and the Packers won 17-3. The next time was done was by the giant killer, Jeff Garcia. He knocked the Giants out of the playoffs with the Eagles and the 49ers. But in his first career start, Garcia faced the 3-0 Titans. And in 1999, the Titans were very good because they went to the Super Bowl in 1999. The 49ers won 24-22. And then in 2002, the only other time it was done by a winless team, Mark Bolger in a 28-13 win over the Raiders back in 2002. So actually it happened, 2002 over the Raiders. Bolger got a lot of help from his rushing attack with Marshall Faulk. It helps if you have a future Hall of Famer running the ball, 158 yards on the ground. Though Bolger didn't put up eye-popping numbers, he threw for just 186 yards, which ain't bad. He did throw 3 touchdown passes. The Rams defense also forced 3 very big turnovers. So it's very, very impressive. All you can, really, really hope for, right, is just give us some hope, right? Oh, we got here. Giants need to play way better. Bad play call and bad day. Yeah, I know. I mean, that Hampton touchdown run, I mean, had the one hole there. I don't know who was supposed to fill that. If that was supposed to be Muasau or maybe the one didn't, or I don't know. But there was that hole there. He hit the hole and he was gone. I mean, yeah. Good game, Dart. That's poison pocket. Oh yeah. Oh, that's huge. Those 6 first downs they picked. I mean, that was huge. That's so demoralizing for defense, too. You get them in 3rd down and whatever, right? And the quarterback's in the pocket. Boom, just takes off and gets the first down. That's demoralizing. That's tough. That's tough. Which is great because you want to keep the defense on the field and tire them out. Yeah, it's great. This thing is that his toughness. Oh, yeah. No, it didn't seem like he got rattled. Nope. I mean, he's very, very tough. Absolutely. So he's giving us hope. He's giving us hope. Because after, I mean, hey, I got to move my legs home. I got my dog in front of me on the floor. I got to move my legs without kicking them. There we go. That's better. After Daniel Jones, whatever it winds up being with that. If it was the Giants, if it was the coaching staff, if it was I don't know, it was a Lucky Charms leprechaun, if it was Santa, whoever's fault it was with Daniel Jones, he's not here. I wish the guy nothing but the best, but we're moving on from the Daniel Jones thing. Now we need a quarterback going forward. Let's hope maybe we got one. That'd be fantastic, right? He's just giving us some hope, right? It wasn't like. Another thing, was a lot of the yards that, a lot of short passes because the Chargers play really deep. It's like, you'd have to basically throw a ball up in the air and hit it with a baseball bat about 400 feet to get it past I mean, they're not going to let nobody get past them. That's why, look, Malik Neighbors, a couple of his catches right for 20, he got 2 catches for 20 yards or something. I mean, just short passes. I mean, they play deep. And they have a very good defense, though. Very, very good defense. I mean, but we did what we had to do. Yeah, the moment didn't seem too big for him. And he's going to learn as he goes along. He's going to learn as he goes along. All these snaps he takes, all these looks and all that and everything's going to be really going to help him out going forward. And hopefully next year he'll be even better prepared. Hopefully we get Malik back, right? And I said, we're going to talk about this. So we need another wide receiver, another threat of a wide receiver. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But before I go too far here, unfortunately, hopefully nothing but thoughts and prayers here for Mr. Mara. He put out a message here. Unfortunately, he's got cancer. Where are we at here? John Mara reveals cancer diagnosis, feeling strong and optimistic. So, he's by getting the best of care. So which is good. John Mara, the 70-year-old president, chief executive officer, and co-owner of the Giants, has recently been diagnosed with cancer. He is undergoing treatment, according to a statement he released through the team Monday afternoon. I've recently been diagnosed with cancer and have been following the treatment plan recommended by an outstanding team of doctors, Mara's statement read. I'm feeling strong and optimistic, and I'm committed to seeing this through to a positive outcome. I plan to remain active with the team throughout my treatment, and I'm fortunate to be surrounded by incredible support, personally, professionally, and medically. I ask that you respect my privacy and my family's privacy at this time. Mara was in attendance, right, MetLife Stadium on Sunday as the Giants beat the Chargers for the first victory of the season. So I'll tell you what, that had to raise his morale a little bit. That's good. Unlike many NFL owners, Mara is a constant presence in the team's facility with an office in the building. He is frequently on the field to watch practice and in daily contact with general manager Joe Shane and head coach Brian Dable. Type of cancer Mara has and the stage and severity of his diagnosis was not revealed at this time. He appears to have lost weight. So, the Giants are a family business. Mara is the oldest son of late Wellington Mara. A franchise patriarch, John Mara's grandfather, Tim, purchased the franchise for $500 in 1925. John Mara has a law degree from Fordham University Law School and worked as a labor and employment lawyer and litigator prior to joining the Giants in 1991. He became the team president in 2005 following his father's, Wellington's, passing in 2005. 1990, the Tisch family purchased 50% of the Giants for $75 million. Now 50% is worth $5 billion now. Wow. Steve Tisch is currently the co-owner of the team, along with John Mara. The franchise is valued at $10 billion. Whew. I'm surprised Mr. Mara hasn't had a heart attack watching the team play over the past however long. And then there was one thing here. I wanted to read this too, if I could. Let's see if I can find it. OC. Because OC was injured one time. Okay, here you go. O.C. Umenyiora was injured one time, and he said the only one person from the whole team or organization, well, I'm going to read this article, that visited him in a hospital was John Mara. The only person. On Monday, the Giants co-owner John Mara released a statement disclosing his ongoing battle with cancer. Widely respected across the NFL, Mara is known for his strong relationships with players and staff behind closed doors, fostering a deep sense of loyalty within the Giants organization. Mara's close connection with his players was evident in the heartfelt response from Giants legend and Ring of Honor member O.C. Umenyiora. Following Mara's announcement, Umenyiora shared a touching story highlighting the owner's compassion, a sentiment that resonates throughout the organization. 2008, I tore my knee up, out for the season. Only one person from the organization came to the hospital to see me. That was John Mara. I couldn't believe it. It was him. I just started crying. And And he just sat there till I fell asleep. Didn't say a word. He will beat this for sure. Human Yours tribute is one of many from former Giant coaches and players who expressed their support and admiration for Mara after a statement. Mara's commitment extends beyond team success, reflecting his genuine care for the well-being of his players and staff. And it also, Tom Coughlin said, sending strength, support, and prayers to John Mara. Your leadership and grit inspire everyone around you. No one fights cancer alone. It takes a team, and always proud to be on yours, he said. So that just goes to show you. I mean, it was also the same thing as that, his father, Wellington, was a lot like that too. His father was, if you were once a giant, always a giant. I mean, so, you get a lot of people say a lot of bad things. There's been one constant the whole time we've been losing, and it's, John Mara, right? But there's no denying that the Mara family cares about their players, like their family. So, with him, and I'm sure he has the best doctors he can get, right? So let's hope. You don't know what kind of cancer it is or what stage it is or anything like that, but let's got our thoughts and prayers going out for him. Well, finally, the defense comes up big. Now, the thing is that, also let's not forget, that I said earlier, the Chargers offensive line was banged up. It was like the one game, talking about O.C. Umenyiora, right? The one game where he had 6 sacks. The guy he was going up against for the Eagles was like the 39th string tackle. I mean, I might have been like the 3rd string tackle. So, I mean, they had a bunch of guys that were injured. So, but what you're supposed to do is when you're this level and the person you're going up against this level, you're supposed to dominate him, and that's what OC did. Well, I mean, I said Mekhi Becton was out, Alt got injured, and Slater, sadly, once again, he's out for the whole season, right? So the Chargers, needless to say, their offensive line was banged up. Now, also, just off of that, just for a second, I think it's the guard for Nolans, Ruiz, I believe it is. He may not be playing for the Saints this weekend. Sadly, he's injured. But that that might help the Giants in their pass rush out, right? But even the Chargers' offensive line was bad. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go in there and dominate, and dominate they did. Let me share my screen here. I got PFF, and they there we go. Pass rush. Here we go. All right, here we go. So of course you got Abdul Carter. I mean, this is PFF. I seen some different. I think the Giants, somebody had 28 pressures or something like that, but it was 2 sacks, right? Could have been more. As I said, half the time, Herbert's like getting sacked. He's about like maybe a foot off the ground from being sacked, and he just throws the ball away, so he's not getting sacked. Just playing smart football, right? Just throwing the ball away so he doesn't take a 10-yard loss or whatever it is. But he got sacked twice. Let's not forget that big one that Burnsy came up with at the end, toward the end of the game, or when the Chargers had the ball, all they needed was a freaking field goal, right? And Burnsy went crashing in there, right? I think it was a stunt. And man, once he gets in the backfield free and clear, there's not many quarterbacks going to be getting away from him. So, Herbert. And the one thing on that one play though was like, if you ever want to look him right at the I think was that maybe Lad McConkey? Yeah, I think it was whatever they want to call it, a rub or whatever they want to call it. It sure looked like it was some type of I can't remember who got knocked down on the Giants. Somebody got knocked down on the Giants, and their one wide receiver was running free down the field. And if on one of those plays, and if we didn't have pressure on on the quarterback, right, Herbert, I mean, that could have been a touchdown right there, or not a touchdown. It could have been a huge play for him. But this is this is what you want to see, though. I mean, it doesn't have to be obviously be every game. Well, we need to get 342 sacks every game from these guys. No, but there's got to be somewhere along the line, where these guys take over a freaking game. And thanks that once again, I said thankfully, the Chargers offensive line was dinged up. The Giants defensive front took over the game. Right? So, I mean, you look here, Abdul Carter. So he had 35 pass rushes, right? He had eight total pressures. He had 5 hits and 3 hurries. But his pass rush was 92%. Pretty good, right? Bobby Okereke, he rushed the quarterback 6 times. But Sexy Dexy, right? He had 2 pressures. Darius Muisow, right? They sent him 2 times, right? He was out there for 17 quarterback. In the past 17 times, but he rushed 2 times. He got pressures both times. So when they blitzed him, he got pressure. So that was good. Good old Burnsy, right? 35 quarterback rushed the quarterback 35 times. He had 7 pressures. And I think he's tied for the league lead, I think, with 5 sacks. But not only that, but the one nice thing with Burnsy, hey, he's had a sack in every game. Right? Every game. It's not like he has 5 sacks. He had 4 sacks in one game and he had a sack in another. He's had a sack in like every game. Right? So let's see here. We got Darius Alexander got in there, right? He had 1 pressure. Kayvon, he had 5. Who else we had? Roy Robertson Harris. He was in there for 14 pass rushing snaps. He had 1 pressure. And we got here DJ Davidson. He was only in there for 7, but he got 1 pressure as well, too. But if you look here, right? Total 27 pressures, 2 sacks, 12 with 12. Yeah, we had 12 hits and 13 hurries. So very, very impressive overall. Very impressive. Whoops, let me stop sharing here. But, it's nice to see, that they took over. Got this article here. Giants' vision becomes a reality as pass rush dominated in week 4. Giants picked up their first win of the season in rookie quarterback Jaxson Dart's first career start on Sunday. While Dart and the Giants were able to put some points on the board and hold the lead throughout the entirety of the game, which is another one of the things, right? Because when you got the lead, you can kind of dictate what you're going to try to do, right? I mean, it was a shame. I mean, because the Giants had 13-3 lead, right? And with under a minute to go in the first half, they give up a touchdown. Now it's 13-10. Then we had the 21-10 lead. And in one play, was it a 54-yard run from Hampton? And they get the 2-point conversion. Now it goes, so that 2 big plays they gave up. The one thing is you got to give, credit to the Chargers is that, we got some rushing yards, okay? But, we ran the ball a lot. Now, I mean, where we at here? ESPN, here we are. Okay, rushing attempts. Yeah, we had 161 yards rushing. 161. We ran the ball 42 times. 3.8 yards a carry. They ran the ball. They got 152 yards. So they got 9 less yards than we did. They ran the ball 13 times. They ran the ball 29 times less than we did. They averaged 11.7 yards a carry. They only ran the ball 13 freaking times the whole game. Got 152 yards. Now, of course, maybe 80 yards was that one between the Hampton run and the one scramble that Herbert had. There was about 80 yards between the two. But you take those two, Oh, wait, they still wind up with like 70 yards rushing on 11 carries. I mean, where is the, his run defense is just not very good. Not very good. Let's say, entering the season, the Giants' defensive line was expected to be one of the league's best, and the pass rush most certainly answered the bell in week 4. The trio of Burns, Kayvon, and Carter absolutely dominated the Chargers' thin and banged-up offensive line. Carter, Burns, and Kayvon combined for 20 pressures per next-gen stats. Carter had 5 quarterback hits, Burns had 4 and a sack, Kayvon had 3 and a sack. Total domination. Burns had the big sack late in the fourth quarter to end the Chargers' second-to-last drive. His impressive performance earned him Giants Wire Player of the Game honors. Carter was also extremely impressive on Sunday and seems to be getting better with time. Yes. However, he was quick to credit the rest of the defensive line for success. Absolutely. I mean, let's also not forget, right? You got 2 guys basically on every play blocking sexy. So when you got Kayvon, you got another defensive, maybe another defensive tackle out there, right? You got Burnsy, you got Carter out there, whatever. These guys are all on one-on-ones, right? These guys want the big bucks. Well, when you're going one-on-one, you got to win, okay? Burns wins, right? So, Kayvon's going to want to, we picked up his 5th-year option, but, he's going to want to get paid, right? When you go one-on-one, you got to win, right? Same thing with Carter. I can't imagine what that freaking dude's going to wind up getting after in his 6th year, right? After his 6th year, what he's going to get paid, right? Whew. But when you're on one-on-one, you got to win. But I mean, you look at some of the NFL, the all 22 or whatever that's called. I mean, my goodness, oh man. Especially when he's out on a tackle. I mean, Brian Baldinger broke some of his moves down. It's just like, it's almost comical. It really is. It's just so funny. They snap the ball and like that. Whatever. He puts a move on. And he's heading into the backfield. It's like, damn. So, but as I said, I mean, other quarterbacks maybe get a little rattled or something like that, or maybe were a little small or something, maybe not quite as big or strong or whatever. We would have more sacks. But there was no denying, that they altered that game. Without question. Right. That's why they always say, Bob Papa says this a lot. It's not so much who you play, it's when you play them. Right? We just happened to play the Chargers. When their offensive line was banged up. Now, Slater, I think he's out the whole season. Now, maybe in 2 weeks from now, maybe next week, whatever, maybe Mekhi Becton's back and maybe Alt is back. Well, you got those 2 studs now on the offensive line. Things are a little bit different. Right? We just happened to play them when Slater was out, Becton was out. Oh, Bozeman, the center. He was dinged up as well, too. That's when we happened to play him. It favored us, right? You got to take advantage of that. Giants did, right? I said, yeah, we feed off that. We feed off each other. Whoever's bringing the energy, we all try to feed off that and keep bringing the energy together. Said Carter. Kayvon has been impressive this season and seems to have elevated his game after the Giants drafted Carter in the first round this past April. He was shocked when he heard about the 20 pressures produced by the Giants' big trio of edge rushers. Somebody told him, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was Jordan Renan or somebody told him, whatever it was in the locker room. I said, between you 3 guys, he said, you guys had 20 quarterback pressures. And I think Kayvon went like, damn. But he said that Abdul had like 8 or something, whatever it was, 8 or 9 or whatever it was. And Kayvon's like, yeah, that I never he said that rookie or somebody would say he's making us look old guys look bad or something like that or whatever. But yeah, but somebody told him in the locker room, Kayvon, that they had like 20 between the 3 of them. They had 20 quarterback pressures, and he's like, damn. So Dart said, I thought our defense carried us throughout the game. I thought our offensive line played at an elite level. He told reporters our D-line knew that they had to play at a dominant level for us to win. Just really credit those guys for stepping up and making a lot of plays. Now, thankfully, right, on the Drew Phillips interception, we actually scored a touchdown on that one. But, it was just oh, okay, well, let's transition to my next point here. But, all things, this is one of those, two thumbs up. It's not, this was certainly not one of those, where's the pass rush at? It was there. It was there. It was out there in force, right? So, the defense did a very good job. It was that one touchdown pass at the end of the first half. You just hate that. You dominate. You're up 13-3, and then they get that pass with like 30 seconds to go. It's like, it was a good throw. But then there's that one long touchdown run too. So well, other than that, the defense really played a really good game. But when Sexy, I picked the pass off, and he wound up Herbert wound up going low, right? Hey man, you got to give Herbert a lot of credit, right? Right. He went down. He went to try to take down Sexy. Good luck. Good luck. What I was thinking, because you just want to hit the other quarterback, right? This would have been this would have been legal, I think. But of course, when Sexy's got the ball in his hand, he wants to score. I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing too. But when you're running, right, and you got their quarterback coming over here, right now, when the quarterback's in the pocket after he throws the ball, you can't even look at him. You look at the quarterback, they're throwing 15 yards on you. All right, so you got the quarterback coming over to take a shot at you. Well, why don't you do like maybe a Cam Scatterboo kind of thing or whatever. Right, you're running, you see the guy coming over, you just kind of start turning his way, right? All right, bro, let's see what you got. Let's butt heads, right? I small part of me wanted Dexy just to mash him in. All right, you do tackle me, but guess what? I'm going to break one of your bones, right? Come on, let's do it, right? Let's go head to head, baby. Let's see who wins, right? You'll take me down, but they might be pulling you off the field. Just run him over, but didn't happen. But he got tripped up, went down to the 2-yard line. He couldn't score a touchdown. I think that was when Van Roten got the 5-yard penalty. Play. Let's go. Let's get the interception here. All right. Yeah, Van Roten. Right. So we got down whatever the heck it was. The 2-yard line, the 3-yard line. Okay. It was first and goal at the 3. So apparently Sexy, they marked him down at the 3 after he picked the pass off. Okay. So first, full start. You're in your own stadium. Now, I guess maybe, I don't know. Maybe Dart's different signal count is different than what he's used to Wilson. I don't know. But there's not 100,000 mad, screaming Charger fans in there where you can't hear the signal. I don't know. False start. So even before we can even get a playoff, now we go back from the 3 to the 8, right? Over there. All right. So then Dart goes right tackle. He gets 1 yard. Then we get Cam. It's a 4-yard run. And then we had another Scatterboo right tackle for -1. So we run, well, with the penalty, right? We go from the 3-yard line, and the best we can do is we can get up to the 4-yard line. That's right. Leaving points on the board, right? Thankfully, at least we kicked the field goal, but we had a -1 yard run, a 1 yard run, and a 4-yard run. So I'm not, exactly sure if they wanted to run the ball on every play. Chargers got a good, red zone defense. Maybe they want to turn the ball. I don't know. That I don't know. But so there's 4 points that we left on the board right there, right? So you figure between those plays, they picked up what? They picked up 4-1 and they lost one. So they picked up 4 yards. So we started at the 3-yard line. If we picked up, yeah. There was that other play too. When Dart, I forgot where it was, third quarter, fourth, whatever it was 3rd and 1 or something. We were down around the 10-yard line. Dart got the ball and he gets hit in the backfield. And somebody's about, where's the push? Right? Cam took some dude out, right? God bless him, man. I'm glad we got that guy. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Cam Scatterbone a little bit here. But, but Dart gets nailed in the backfield. Where is the push at? Everybody, all the guys on the Giants offensive line at one time when Dart got hit in the backfield and he got ripped out of the tackle and he got across the 10-yard line for the first down. All the offensive linemen were either on the line of scrimmage or were in the backfield. The only one guy that I saw, okay, some guy by the name of Andrew Thomas, had his guy and he's pushing him backwards. He was pushing the guy I don't know if he was going to push him into Connecticut or something. I don't know, but he was the only one that was past the line of scrimmage from what I saw. Everybody else was either laying on the line of scrimmage or in the back. Where is the push at? Also, when you're running 42 times, what's supposed to happen? Doesn't always happen, but what's supposed to happen, we were very consistent with the run. Very, very consistent. Ran the ball a lot throughout the whole game. It wasn't like we ran the ball 35 times in the first half and only 7 in the second half or whatever. We ran the ball rather consistent. What's supposed to happen, right, is that in the first quarter, it's supposed to be a 2-yard pickup, maybe a 3-yard pickup, right? Second quarter, it becomes a 3-yard pickup, maybe a 4-yard pickup, right? But you got to, if you have the lead and you can keep dictating what you're going to do, you can hopefully keep with the running game, right? And then in the third quarter, you keep with the running game. That those 2-yard runs in the first quarter, now they become 4 or 5-yard runs. And you keep it up. In the fourth quarter, those 2-yard runs that were in the first quarter now become 5, 6, 7, 10, or whatever. Because as the defense is sucking wind, we're on the field for 35 minutes. They should be sucking some wind, right? Scatterboo's numbers kept coming down. He was over in the beginning of the game. He was over 4 yards a carry, right? It seemed like after Malik Neighbors got injured, right? We kept running the ball, but we didn't, basically the offense after that first drive, the offense scored 3 points. The other two, the other 2 times we scored, the other 11 points was off of the 2 interceptions. So without the 2 interceptions, let's just take those 2 interceptions and put them to the side for a second, right? The offense scored 3 points the whole rest of the game. We scored the first drive. How much time was left? Let's see here. Touchdown. There was darn near. All right. Okay, it was a little over 9 minutes left to go in the first quarter. So 45. So it was 54 minutes left to go in it. The final, once again, hey, we won. Yes. But the final 54 minutes of the game, we scored 3 points. The offense scored 3 points. But not for those 2 interceptions. But that's complimentary football. But it's also, you get the turnovers, but it's not so much you get the turnover. What do you do with the turnovers? Well, at least they scored. They did score twice, though. But they left some points on the field, right? But we only scored, 3 other points. Now, we could add another field goal at the end of the game, right? But Dable decided to go for the touchdown. So, to put us up. Touchdown would have put us up by 10. Instead of kicking a field goal, we would have been up by 6. And if Herbert could have walked them down the field and scored a touchdown, we would have lost. Right? But it's leaving points on the board there. I mean, and then the other time we got down there, thankfully, I said when Phillips intercepted the pass, right? Both times the guys got tackled inside the 5-yard line. I forgot who it was. The guy who tackled Phillips hustled his butt off, got Phillips from behind, tripped him up, and he fell down. But so there was another time. Let's see, that was that second quarter of the field goal. Is that it? Let's see here. 50, 39, 4. All right. Well, okay. Let's see. We got down to the 12. It was 1st and 10 at the 12. A 2-yard run. Then we had a sack, a 3-yard sack. Then we had an incompletion. Right. So we got down to the 12-yard line. We kicked the field goal. Right. All right. What else do we have here? Touchdown, punt, downs. Okay. Then the other one was the downs. Yeah. Thankfully, after Phillips picked the pass off, right, we got the 1st and goal to 3, the Chargers 3 after Phillips' interception, right? So there was 3:33 left on the clock in the 3rd quarter, right? But what did we do? First play, we tried to run Scatterbo up the middle, right? No gain, no push, nothing. And I mean, the thing, if there, the one thing is that with Scatterbo for the most part is that if there's something there, he's probably going to work his way through it. Now, of course, I'm sure he might have been getting tired and all that, but if there's a little bit of a gap or something, he's going to somebody trying to arm tackle him or something like So I mean, you're going to stop Cam. I mean that's not an easy task. Okay, not an easy task. But first down, at the 3-yard line, we run the ball, absolutely nothing. Finally, on the second down, we scored, but that was the shovel pass with Theo Johnson. Now, I mean, also got to give the Chargers some credit. Okay, without question, got to give them some credit because they had a very good defense coming into this game. They had a very good red zone defense coming into this game, and it showed, right? But, I mean, this is going to be one of the problems the Giants are going to have quite possibly going forward, right? Is that if, we got, I don't know, Slayton out there, Theo Johnson, maybe Wandale Robinson, I don't know who we're going to have out there. Maybe Hyatt. Bo Collins. I mean, a lot of the teams, they might just start playing a lot of man, maybe load the box up and say, all right, we're loading the box up. Good luck trying to run against us, right? And, good luck. Let's see if any of your wide receivers can get open, right? We're playing man. There's no zone. We're not backing off, and you guys can find a soft spot in the zone, sit down, and we complete a pass. So, none of that. We got man on man, right? Let's see if any of your wide receivers are good enough, right, to beat us man on man, right? That wasn't the case with Malik, right? When Malik was on the field, kind of changed things up a little bit. So it might get very difficult here for the Giants. Very, very difficult. Right? Especially if other teams start loading the box. But once again, we keep leaving these points on the board. I mean, when the first game against the Commanders, we didn't score at all in the red zone. Right? I mean, we didn't do very well against, I think, against the Cowboys. I don't think we did very well either. We kept, a lot of times we scored was from outside of the red zone on these deep bombs. I mean, and against the same thing with the Chiefs. Not very good. That red zone is horrible, horrible. Leaving points on the board. And I said, the one thing we don't seem to have, okay, is, we don't have that push. You get down there and you need that 1 yard, or you got a first down and goal at the 3. All right, we're going to run it 3 times. If you can stop us, good luck and God bless. Right? Our guys are going to push your guys back and we're going to get in one way or the other, right? We're just going to overpower you. We don't do that. We can't have it. When was the last time we were able to do that, right? So, I don't know. You got to get, obviously, I'm going to be rocket scientists figure that out, but, it would be nice if we had an offensive line that can blow some guys off the ball, right? Just don't seem to have that. But speaking about Cam, Mr. Scatterboo, I saw this. I get a kick out of this. Right. According to PFF, anyway, Cam is still the number one for back-to-back weeks. He's still the number one rated running back, according to PFF. It's only 4 weeks, early, a long way to go. I get it, all that stuff. But interestingly, Saquon Barkley is the number 82 ranked running back. And the Eagles just paid that guy. They gave him a 2-year extension or whatever it was for $41 million. They gave $36 million guaranteed. 2 years, $41 million after. So basically he's making like $20.5 million a season. Saquon Barkley. I think he's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. And they're giving Saquon Barkley over $20 million a year. He's got like one of the best offensive lines in football. And he's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. Unbelievable. Let me I got it here somewhere. Okay, here we go. Let me show you here. Share screen. All right, I got it. Let's see here. Somewhere. All right, here we go. Rushing grades. Here we go. Okay. All right. Offensive, not running. Okay, the total offense, right? There we go. Cam, right? And he's only averaging 3.8 yards a carry, right? Right, these other guys here, Merritt, he's averaging 5.9, 5.3. This guy, Najee Harris, 4.1. Unfortunately, his season's over with, right? Kenneth Walker, 5.4, 4.4, 3.3. Josh Jacobs, 3.3. But I mean, look at all these guys: 6.1, 5, 5.7, blah, 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 blah. God, who leads the league as far as his offensive grade, as far as running backs, Cam Scatterboo. Averaging 83.7 is offensive grade. Fantastic. Let's see. They got his run blocking, 79.6. Look at that. 79.6 run blocking grade. Unbelievable. I mean, look at this. Look at this. I mean, 85.1. Who's this here? Aaron Jones. Okay. He's 85.1. But I mean, there's nobody else. Let me see. Where are we at here? Oh, do it 100 here. Right. Okay. Well, let me do this here. Run blocking. All right. See number 2. Where's he at? Number 2. Cam Scatterboo. Number 2 is run blocking. Right. Now they don't show you pass blocking here, do they? Pass blocking. Here we go. Pass blocking. Let's go. I don't know. I don't know where he's at here. He must be, I guess he must be maybe down there pretty far. Cam's pass blocking. What's his pass blocking? 26.5. Well, I don't know about that. His receiving grade's a 79. So his receiving grade is like number 4 overall. Somehow he's a 26.5. I don't know about that. I mean, once again, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I've seen Cam blow some dudes up. I've seen him blow some guys up, run block and all that stuff. The dude's giving it his all. Right? But after 4 weeks, our 4th round selection, our rookie 4th round selection, who's averaging less than 4 yards a carry. And it's not his fault. We just don't have the guys up front that can open the holes up. You give the dude a hole, he's going to get some yards for you. So he's averaging less than 4 yards a carry. It's not his fault. It's our offensive line. Okay. But he's averaging, he's the number one according to PFF overall, right? 83.7. Now, as I said, we're going to go down. This is what I love here. Number 82, Saquon Barkley. 53.2. So Cam is 30-something points higher than, according to PFF, right, than Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is averaging 3.1 yards a carry. They're giving the dude over $20 million a season if he plays the whole season, right? He's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. Wow. He's got one of the best offensive lines in football. And Saquon Barkley averaging 3.1 yards a carry. One of the best offensive. He's got 2 number 1 wide receivers out there running around, which should open stuff up for him. He's averaging, and last week he was averaging 3.3 yards a carry. So he's gotten even worse. He's down to 3.1 yards a carry. Let me just see. Philadelphia Eagles 2025. Let's see here. Here's schedule. All right, let's see. We got a box score here. Okay, so Saquon against the Cowboys. This is what $20 million is getting here. Saquon, 18 rushes for 60 yards, 3.1 yards a carry, 3.3 yards a carry. 3.3 yards a carry against the Cowboys. Against the Chiefs. Let's see your box score. Saquon Barkley, 22 rushes, 88 or 4 yards a carry. So his last 2 carries, he must have really done pretty bad. All right, against the Rams. This is where they lucked out to win this game. Let's see, what did he get here? Saquon Barkley, let's see here. 18 carries, 46 yards, 2.6 yards a carry. One of the best offensive lines in football, and he gets 2.6 yards a carry. Wow. And they give him $20 million a season for that. Okay, and then this past week here, against the Buccaneers, let's see here. All right, box score, what do we got here? Barkley, 19 carries, 43 yards, 2.3 yards a carry. Wow. Very impressive. Saquon, he's really taking the world by storm. So the Eagles gave him $20.5 million, and he's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. Wow. Okay, but so after I did a video last week talking about Joe Shane, it looked like it was a good move maybe to let Saquon go. And I had a couple poll smokers left some comments that said, I can't remember what the German helmet suckers told me or said, but yeah, said, the Eagles are paying $20.5 million for a running back who's 3.1 yards a carry. Not too intelligent to me. He did really well last year and got in the Super Bowl, but to me, once again, I'll say this till the day I die. Whatever they did last, nothing impressed me because they can't afford their players. They have basically half their offense is on void years, all void years at the end of their contract because they can't afford to pay them. So to me, all the teams, a lot of the teams do it. I don't know if the Giants have anybody on void years right now. I don't think we do. Basically where you're paying them a lot of their salary after their contract's over. That's what the Eagles do. That's why they have such a good-looking team, somewhat of a good look, and they draft well. But the reason why they have a lot of good players is because they can't afford their players. So they put all void years at the end of their contracts. So they pay them a lot of their salary after the contract's over with. I don't know if the Giants have anybody on void years. The Eagles do. The Eagles have like almost half their offense on void years. That's why they have such a good offense, right? But they're paying Saquon Barkley, and they gave him a raise. I believe it was after the last season was over. He had 2,000 yards rushing. He had the best offensive line in football, one of the best. Right? Nobody was injured. They were all fine and healthy and all that. He had a great year. Good for him, and they rewarded him. But I don't know if they overused him or not. But so far this year, he's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. So I don't know if they used him up last year or what, but he ain't the Saquon from last year, that's for sure. And the Giants are saving themselves a whole boatload of money. Saquon, is $20.5 million a season, right? That's what the Eagles, they gave us contract extension. They guaranteed him $36 million, guaranteed. We got Cam Scatterbill, right? With the worst offensive line, averaging more yards per carry, rated number 1 overall according to PFF. Okay, and he's at 1.3 million. Right? To me, I'd rather have Cam Scatterbill than Saquon Barkley. I'd rather have a $1.3 million Cam Scatterbill in the first year of his career than the 8th year Saquon Barkley, paying him over $20 million a season at 3.1 yards per carry. Yeah. As I said, it looks like, I said right now, I didn't say maybe last year. I said right now, it looks like that's a pretty good move. But I said, but there was a couple of guys, pole smokers that came on and were making some comments and stuff like that. I said right now, it looks like it's a pretty good move. Right? I'd rather have a Cam Scatterbill at 1.3 million, making averaging like 3.8 yards a carry with the worst offensive line than the Eagles, than to be paying Saquon Barkley over $20 million a season. He's averaging 3.1 yards per carry, one of the best offensive line, if not the best offensive line in football. 2 number 1 wide receivers who open things up. You got a great offensive line, and plus not only that, but you got a really good running quarterback. Okay, who can open up all kinds of things, and you're paying your running back over $20 million a year, and he's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. I'd take Cam Scatterbill 10 ways to Tuesday. So, we got the number 1 rated running back in all football. Right? And just imagine if we actually had an offensive line that could open up some holes. Imagine what Cam could do then, huh? Unfortunately, right? Unbelievable. It's just it's right. When the Giants ever get, it's just unbelievable. All right, what we had last, like a quarter and a half, Jaxson dart out there, right, and Malik Neighbors winds up going down. His season's over with. They said hopefully he'll be back next season, right, which would be great. But it was interesting because, Vinny, what's up, Vinny? Come on, brother. Talking about Mr. Neighbors here. Hey, Mr. Neighbors. But it was interesting, too, because I saw that when OBJ got injured on MetLife turf, right? He went down against the Chargers as well, too, right? But it just, you could just see it when he went up and he came down. His knee just. I know Mr. Mara, because he was talking about, maybe somewhere along the line, maybe looking at grass or something like that. But he was kind of saying, as long as you got like 2 football teams there, basically like every week playing on the grass, it's very difficult to keep the grass up. Because we had grass in Giants Stadium from 2000 to 2002, I think it was 2 or 3 years. I'm sorry, three or 4 years, 2000 to 2002 or 2000 to 2003. But it was very difficult with the Giants playing there one week and the Jets playing there the next week. The grass was like always getting chewed up. It was very, very difficult to, I mean, the Commanders play on grass. They're in the Northeast. The Eagles play on grass. Their stadium's absolutely beautiful. They play on grass, right? But a lot of it, is with the Giants, with the two teams being in there. It's very, very difficult. If there's ever a point in time where the Giants have their own stadium and the Jets have their own stadium, then might be possibly talking about something. Maybe we can put some grass in there. It would be fantastic. The thing is that, you got to look at it, right? Okay. It's expensive. It's this, it's that, there's some stadiums that they roll out the carpet, they roll they roll the grass out, and they roll it back in, roll it out. We could put like a saddle or something like on these other these planets, millions and millions of light years away and all that, but we can't figure out how to get grass that we can't. Maybe you got you have two different turfs or something like that. You roll one out, and you roll another one in, and while you got this, while they're playing on this one, you're taking care of that one. We can't figure something out. Let's figure about it, right? What's the cost of a lost season? You go through all of this, all of that, traveling back and forth, all the training camp, the practices, the team meetings, all this and everything, all this stuff and everything. What's the cost of a lost season? You lost one of the top 5 wide receivers in all of football. You lost your only weapon on offense. Season's over, right? Yeah. We still got 13 more games to play. We're going to play the 13 games. That's we got season's over. We have no no deep threat. Right? Our main weapon is no mas. We have the season's over. Yeah. What's the cost of a lost season? So it just. I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame. I said the one nice thing, though, is that there's a good possibility he'll be back by week 1 next week. Let's hope. Right? So, gross. There's so many reports out there, right? Right. We'll have a tremendous amount of support for him and his family. The head coach Dable said it's obviously a tough loss for our football team, but we'll regroup. And we'll get the guys ready to play that are here and be as good as we can be. But, who are we kidding? Next man up. Okay, yeah. All right, whatever. Okay, next man up. Great. Who's that going to be? There's no, it's not a Disney movie or something like that where, they'll write the plot in and, what we'll do is we'll get a lot of short passes in there, and this will work, and that'll work, and this will happen, and we'll get the running game, and we'll mix in some screen passes, and this and that. And we'll move down the field, and it's not a Disney movie. You lose your big weapon, you're in trouble. You're in deep trouble. The Giants lost their one weapon. Yeah. A lot of it is also like, the one time when we lose Saquon, right? The one, when did we lose him? Was it 2021? Is that when we lost him? The first week we lost to the Steelers. Then the second week we went on the road and we played Chicago. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. We started 1-7 that year. That was Judge's first year. Yeah. Somehow we wound up 5-3 at the final 8 games. But, you lose your one big weapon and you're screwed. You're screwed. That's why it's so important, to have two. But Absolute freaking shame. Absolute freaking shame. Neighbors had 2 catches for 20 yards on 3 targets. 4 games, he had 18 total receptions, 271 yards, including 167 and 2 touchdowns against the Cowboys. Of course, now we got Wandale's the team leader now with receptions. Slade has 135 yards. Wandale has 237 yards. Slate needs 64 more yards to surpass Sterling Shepard for 16th on the all-time franchise list. Jalen Hyatt played 29 snaps on Sunday after lining up for just 6 in the first 3 games combined. So we're going to be interested to see who's going to take Neighbor's spot, right? Very, very difficult. As I said, I mean, the one thing is now you don't have anything, you don't have anybody who can go deep. I mean, we got guys who can go deep. But we don't have anybody who's going to, keep, as I said before, defensive coordinators up at nighttime. Oh, got that Darius Slayton over there. Whew. I'm not getting any sleep tonight. I got the coffee pot going. I got 3 pots of coffee. I'm going to drink them all. I'll tell you what, this Darius Slayton guy is keeping me up at night. I'm just going to have to spend the next whole week just studying his game film because this guy's not going to beat it. He's not going to beat you. There's not. Well, they got that Theo Johnson. Let me tell you what. Man, that guy's going to wreak havoc on us. I mean, we don't have anybody. One of the things, and they were talking about this on Big Blue Kickoff Live, John Schmelk was talking about this, is that, there's a good chance that what the other team's defense start to do, right, is they start loading the box, right? And they play man-on-man coverage on the outside. If you guys can beat us, God bless you. In the passing game, right? If you guys can get open, okay, good for you. But we're going to get up, we're going to get in your face, we're going to jam you at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to be right there with you. There's nobody who's, that's scaring us, right? And then we're just going to load the box, and we're going to almost force you to start throwing the ball. So it's Like I said, the one nice thing, it's obviously good and bad, right? Because it's bad because it happened in the 4th game. So we got the final 13 games of the season with our best offensive weapon is gone. So that stinks. But because it happened so early in the season, okay, there's a good chance he'll be back by week 1 next season. So that's good. But, of course, that also obviously leaves a spot on the roster. So who could possibly, this one's funny, who could possibly, take Malik's spot on the roster? So could we possibly replace Malik Neighbors with DJ? Possibly. No, I don't mean Daniel Jones. But, I mean, of course, as this happens, there's all kinds of things swirling around and all of that. Who the Giants going to get? And, one of the problems that the Giants have as far as trying to get maybe replacing Malik Neighbors is that we don't have a lot of salary cap space. So, as far as going out and bringing somebody in, who could possibly come close to, replacing, we got to be very careful with the money, But there's all kinds of people out there. Let me see. I got to find this one here. Okay, this might be it right here. The Giants could swing a big move for DJ Moore to replace Malik Neighbors if the price is right. Not Daniel Jones, but DJ Moore. There are a lot of moving parts to make this trade happen, but there is a method to the madness. First things first, Moore is expensive. Now, he went to Chicago, right? I mean, gave Caleb's got himself a plethora of good guys, good talent to throw the ball to. But Chicago would need to eat some of his salary or take back matching money to make the cap math work. The 28-year-old just signed a 4-year, $110 million deal in 2024, and he carries a $24.9 million cap hit. That's a massive commitment to undertake. But, I mean, to me, somewhere along the line, we need another weapon. Secondly, the Shane Dable clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast, which makes riding out the year with Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton as their top two receivers feel like a non-starter. And Jalen Hyatt hasn't shown anything to suggest he's ready for a larger role. Nope. Lastly, it's becoming clear by the week that Moore is being phased out of the Bears offense. Moore is arguably on pace for the worst season of his 8-year career, though through the first 4 weeks he has just 16 receptions for 178 yards and 1 touchdown. Rome Odunze and Luther Burden are quickly becoming Caleb Williams' go-to guys, not Moore. So with the former Maryland Terrapin looking like the very expensive odd man out, it might make some sense for a change of scenery, with Big Blue being a viable destination. DJ's fit with the G-Men is almost glove-like. He's electric with the ball in his hands and a yards after catch monster, exactly what you want for a developing quarterback like Dart. The 22-year-old rookie wouldn't have to force throws downfield. He could lean on Moore's ability in space, make quick reads, and let him cook. And when Leak gets healthy next year, the G-Men could have 2 bona fide playmakers flanking their franchise quarterback. And then you have Wan'Dale Robinson. Hopefully we bring him back. Right? And then you can have Darius Slayton, right, as be our number 4 wide receiver. That wouldn't be too bad. Just we're start getting a little expensive because Wan'Dale is in a contract year for him, right? Because 22, 23, 24, 25, right? So he's gonna want a contract. I don't know what he's going to get paid. At least Malik is relatively cheap right now. Okay, so and we got Slayton. He's not making a ton of money either. Okay, so if we were to bring in DJ Moore, he would be the one that would command a lot of money. All right, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the Giants do need somebody else. Let's say Moore might be a reach, sure, but never count Shane out when it comes to flipping day 1 and day 2 picks to improve the roster. Nobody flips early picks during a rebuild like the 46-year-old GM. But remember, this regime needs to win now. If Dart's your guy, go get him a guy and keep this season from getting too out of hand. We don't have anything to hang our hats on. I said, hopefully, Cam. I mean, I said the Chargers had a good defense, very, very good defense. Okay, but what do we want? I mean, right? Overall, I mean, we had. Team stats. Our offense against a very good defense. Okay, I get it. But we had 250 total yards of offense. 250 yards of offense. I mean, and then of course, now that Dart's in there, there's also going to start being film on him, and the defensive coordinator is going to be eating that up, right? Just like the Giants were doing, the W's or whatever it was. They were eating his W's up in Jameson Winston. Dart put a W in Jameson Winston's mouth after one of our exhibition wins, and Jameson Winston was chewing on it. You start eating that stuff up. What did the Giants do with can we open the offense up? Who's going to step up? Right? I mean, there are some people talking about like little Jordan Humphrey, right? Because that's who Dart threw his first touchdown to. right? But yeah, you got to remember a lot of this too was Dart was going up against backups. The exhibition, yeah, we were 3-0. We were over 60-point plus to the plus differential in preseason. Now we're in regular season. Now we're 1-3. We're not looking too good. So, the regular season is different animal. I mean, I'm saying who's going to be that? Right. So that people start seeing, film, right, on what Dart does and all. And he's very good at improvising, right? The moments don't seem to be too big for him and all that. But what can we do? There's only so much we have. At least like when in 2022 we went to the playoffs, right? I mean, we had Slayton, right? We had we didn't have Wando Robbins. Was it Richie James we had, right? Because Wando got hurt. We had Isaiah Hodgins, so we didn't have any phenomenal talent as far as, but we had Saquon Barkley, right? He was there all year, so he was always a threat. We always have a threat. Now, whether it's in the backfield or whether it's a tight end or whether it's somebody you got to have a threat. Giants don't really have that, right? Don't really have that. So it's gonna be interesting to see, who takes his place. Who do they call anybody up? Right? We got. I mean, there's a bunch. One of them. Another thing. 6 wide receivers the Giants could add after Neighbor's injury. Of course, one of them, of course, is Odell Beckham Jr., Little Jordan Humphrey, right? Jacoby Myers, Ricky White, Chris Olave. That's somebody interesting, right? And Deontay Johnson. What we got here? Whoops. Now there was one. Oh, here we go. Olave. Olave is the perfect Malik Neighbors replacement after a crushing injury. Again, this seems unlikely. Still, the Saints have started the season 0-4, and Olave has a long injury history. So, I mean, is that somebody real? Do we want somebody with injury history? I don't think so. But the 2022 first-round pick has 1 year left on his deal, the 5th-year option that the Saints did pick up. And if it's worth wondering if he's ready to commit a lot of money to a receiver who has struggled to stay on the field, if they're looking to move on, perhaps the Giants would want to place a bet on the talent to aid Dart's development. When Olave is on the field, he typically delivers. The Ohio State product produced a pair of 1,000-yard seasons to start his career before injuries derailed him in year 3. I don't know if the Giants want to, bring in somebody who's going to command some money, who has obviously an injury history too. So there was another one here with Malik Neighbors officially out for the remainder of the season. The Giants might target another starting caliber wide receiver ahead of the trade deadline, not necessarily because they are in the win now mode, but because aiding rookie quarterback Jaxson Dart in his development should be a priority. Right now, Dart's receiving group lacks talent. On September 29th, CBS sports writer Jeff Kerr discussed a few wide receiver options for the Giants. The Raiders pass catcher Jacoby Myers stood out as a potential under-the-radar trade target. Myers is one of the underrated receivers in the NFL, an excellent route runner that would help any quarterback. He's been good for the Raiders this season, 21 catches, 258 yards, and it would take a higher price to get him, but Myers is also in the final year of his contract with the Raiders. The Raiders weren't expected to compete this season, a year in which the franchise looked for stability with Carroll. They're getting that at the moment, even with the play of Geno Smith and the 1-3 record. Myers, who is also 29, can boost up his free agency stock, whether he's with the Raiders or the Giants. I mean, one of the things that let's not forget is the Giants don't have a lot of salary cap space either. So that's why you're thinking about maybe bringing somebody up maybe from their practice squad, right? They could try to maybe put Gunnar Olszewski maybe in the slot. Maybe put because he did decently in the preseason, although it was preseason, right? They maybe put him in the slot. Maybe move Wando Robinson to the outside, right? But I mean, whatever configuration they do come up with, it's going to be tough because the Giant. I mean, not necessarily a win now mode. The thing is that you want to, shell out some money or trade away some draft picks for somebody who's maybe not going to help you win this season. Don't know. But however you look at it, the Giants, whether they get it this year or whether maybe it's next season or whatever, the Giants definitely need another weapon, without question. And it's really help out Jaxson Dart now if they try to do that this season, to help, aid in his production this season. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But the Giants only have about $3 million in salary cap space. And that may not even be enough to last the season, because you keep bringing guys up from the practice squad, keep elevating them and signing some guys from the practice squad to the 53-man roster, it costs some money. So the Giants may not even have enough money to last the season. So as far as going out there and bringing in, some of the guys are like a free agent, like Odell Beckham Jr. They're free agents for a reason, right? He's out there. Nobody signed them. Now, could Odell Beckham Jr. maybe the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season or toward the end of the last half of the season maybe latch on to a team, right? He's a free agent, right? And not cost a lot of money to it, maybe a playoff contending team. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the Giants, let's forget. If there's wide receivers out there and they're free agents and they're not on a team, there's a reason why. Now, to be fair, a lot of these guys, like Odell Beckham, they're not going to cost a lot of money. But if they're out there and they're not on a team right now, there's a reason why. I mean, if they were that good, if they were that electric and they still had that much, gas left in the tank, they'd be on a team. But Odell Beckham's, he can catch. I've seen highlights of him, catching the ball. Woo, he looks good, but running around in your underwear, catching balls is one thing. Doing them on the field is something different. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Giants do. Does Shane try to pull a trigger on a trade and get somebody in here to help Dart and maybe help the team? Have to wait and see. But, because you're also looking at, too, is that, it makes it very, very tricky now for Dable, right? Because maybe we got the quarterback, but we just lost our big weapon. So if we only win another 3 games the rest of the season, which is possible if we have no offense, right? And we go 4-13, what's that going to do with Mr. Mara at the end of the season? Is he going to be, well, we got our quarterback, but we only won 4 games, but that's because Malik got injured, but is that going to be enough to save Dable's job? So, it's very, very interesting to say, but at least for right now, at least hopefully, we have our own quarterback. All right, guys, been 1 hour, almost 40 minutes. Whoever spent any time, Vinny G. Man, thank you, buddy. Thanks for hanging in with me, brother. Greatly appreciate it. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.